You're listening to the Traffic and Conversion Show. I'm your host, Michelle Fernandez, and joining me today is Jenna Jarson. Jenna is the founder and coach of Drive Performance Coaching, as well as the co-founder of GroupTrack CRM. She helps entrepreneurs monetize their genius through communities, conversations, and compelling offers. Today is all about how to leverage the power of automation with organic social selling. So stay tuned. Hey there, it's Michelle. Welcome back to the show. And today joining me is Jenna Larson. Welcome to the show, Jenna.
Thank you.
Before we dive into some good stuff, because we already started talking a little bit about what you're going to be sharing with us today, which I cannot wait to hear more. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your journey, a little bit about who you serve, what you do, all that good stuff.
Love it. Yeah. So, Jenna Larson, and basically I worked in the corporate space for 10 years, had a job that I loved. I really supported the corporation with voice of the customer and understanding how do we really serve our customers at such a level that they continue to buy over and over and over, and not only keep buying, but progress in price, right? So truly having systems in place so that we can, number one, deliver and fulfill at such a level where they keep coming back, but also have the mechanisms to track so that you can really deliver on that. And so I was happy. I was doing my thing in corporate and, climbing the ladder and had so much flexibility and amazingness. And then one day, I was actually sitting in church and, got a little knock on the head, like, hey, Jenna, you're going to leave your full-time business or company and you're going to start your own business. And I was like, what? No, not me. I'm good. Like I would like literally finish my job every day by 11 o'clock. I was number one in the company. Like it was just like easy for me. Right. Good stuff. But this voice in my head was pretty relentless. And so one day I went to my husband and I said, well, I'm going to quit my corporate job and I'm going to start my own business. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I just know that I want to be the boss of people. Like I want to be the person in charge who's going to kind of give them the path. And I had, previous coaching experience. I used to coach former Olympians for rowing crew, right? So I had been a coach and very, in a leadership role. And so I was like, I'm just going to be a coach, like whatever that means. I'm going to take my expertise in corporate and I'm going to start teaching people how to do that in their business. And so that started my first business, which was called Drive Performance Coaching. And I would work with online entrepreneurs and really dive into their business systems and strategies and just really look for ways to, make it more efficient so they could get more clients without sacrificing their sanity, their time, and all those things. And so what was really great is that business went well. But one of the things I really focused on teaching was exactly what I did in corporate, right? So I was teaching people how to find customers online and keep them buying over and over to increase profits and so forth. But what we started to realize really quickly was what I was teaching was working, which was great, but it really created a problem, which was people were getting so overwhelmed with the number of leads, the number of conversations, the number of clients, everything started falling through the cracks and like, oh my God, we can't keep up. Like it's just too much, right? And so we tried, building other, kind of using out of the box CRMs or client retention management systems. And we still had a disconnect, which was where the clients were, which was on Facebook, is not where they were in the CRM. So it's like, we're working in Facebook, but we're having to like transition. And so, messages are getting lost in the DMs and, all the things. And so I was driving to, 3 years ago in December, I was driving to a holiday party and I was like, oh my God, wait, I should make a CRM that integrates on social media. And so I called this guy, Nate, who was a client of mine. He had a different software company that I was teaching him how to sell and scale it. And I was like, Nate, I have this idea. Can you build it? And he was like, no, that's never going to be possible. And I was like, well, that is a buzzkill, sir. So I'm like, whatever. Right. But like, it was the holidays and I'm, kind of back of mind, but like, I'm pretty relentless. I'm like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Right. But anyways, 2 weeks later, he messaged me and he's like, oh my God, Jenna, I did it. And I was like, what are we even talking about? Right. And so that's how GroupTrack was born, which is my second business. And now that is really my main business. In fact, officially in January, my first baby, my Drive Performance Coaching, is kind of going to be phasing out, because what we've built with our software company really allows me to coach, but also to use this amazing tool. And so that's really been kind of our story. So Nate and I have created GroupTrack CRM. We've been working together now for a little over 2 years. And that's the story that continues. Nate, we have this idea. Our community wants this. And he's like, no. And then 2 minutes later, he's like, I did it. And so it's been this amazing story of getting such amazing influence from the community that's using the tool, that needs the tool. And so it's just so fun. So that's our story of GroupTrack.
I love that. I love that he says no and then he does it anyway.
Always. So yesterday it was so funny. There was someone in our Facebook group that like asked, like, Nate, could you build this feature? And he wrote back, oh, that's an interesting idea. And then this morning he released it. I'm like, what? Like, do you sleep, sir? You know, it's so fun, but it's always a no. And then, you know, like sometimes I won't even see his fingers like moving on the keyboard, and he'll be like, refresh your screen. And then he's already, I'm like, you are out of control. But so it's so fun, because that really is the culture that we bring to our community and our clients, which is that they are such a part of the evolution, because it's all based on what they want.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I kind of like low key, I don't know Nate, but I'm like, he probably doesn't want to say yes just in case he can't do it. But then it's like, dude, you know that you can. So like drop the act. We're on to you, you know?
So true. I asked him for something the other day in one of our team calls, and he really said no, like, no, that can't be done. And one of the team members was like, this almost feels like when you told her GroupTrack wasn't possible. And so, you know, we'll see. I still haven't gotten a yes yet. This is like the longest holdout ever, but we'll see. Yeah.
Maybe he has to do more troubleshooting for that one. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, today we're talking about how to leverage the power of automation with organic social selling. So I cannot wait to dive in. So we all know what social selling is, but just in case someone's listening that doesn't, can you just kind of give a definition for that?
Absolutely. And you know, it's such an interesting term, because I feel like there's so many different definitions that people have. What it means to me is that you are using social media to get your products and services in front of those people, and that you're really organically, and I don't even know if the word organic makes sense in this, because let's be honest, it's not like people are just like coming at you, throwing money at your face because you post something, right? So what we like to really clarify when it comes to selling online, and organic just really means you're not paying for the traffic, right? Is that you are posting things, but not only posting things that are going to really represent what it is that you're selling, but that you're also proactively reaching out to the people who are expressing interest or that have the pain point that you solve, and really nurturing that relationship and converting them into a client. So to me, it means that we are selling on social media. And I think that just means really that we are implementing a process that's repeatable, that can be scaled, but is also still, I guess, the word organic, right? It feels like it's not like a marketing campaign and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that. And I've always defined organic versus paid, right?
Yes.
So it's like something you're doing on your own that you're not paying for it. So you're paying for it with your time, right?
Yes.
Versus like, okay, I'm just going to run Facebook ads or YouTube or whatever. Okay,
right.
good.
Yeah.
So when you're like, how do you balance automation with organic social selling without sounding like a robot? Because how many times do we get those "Hey girl" messages, or it's like, did anybody even read my profile? Do they know, like that? How do you suggest that?
Let me tell you, it is like, so we kind of joke in our community, like it's a Jenna rant. So I'm gonna give you a Jenna rant.
Okay.
It makes me cuckoo. You know, we get DMs every day, and I'm sure every single person who's listening to this has gotten the like, hey girl, I looked at your profile and I think you'd be such an amazing fit, blah, blah, blah. And I read them and I'm like, sir or ma'am, you did not read my profile, because I can tell you right now, you're trying to sell me what I sell. So
Yes.
pretty sure you did not do that, right? And so I will tell you, like, there are rules of engagement that we have created, which is like, what are the do's and what are the don'ts? And I will tell you, one of the absolute don'ts is not to blindly, blanketly send those messages, because it doesn't help. It actually hurts your credibility, right? And so this is kind of our firm stance. So obviously our tool does automate some things. So for example, you have your Facebook group, right? And you've got those people that answer questions to get into your Facebook group. Well, we know the moment you approve them into your Facebook group, that information's gone, right? Well, if you use a tool like GroupTrack, it captures that information for you. And if you use a CRM like Go High Level, Kartra, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, whatever, right? Our tool integrates with that tool. So the moment you approve them into your group, they're now in your email marketing tool, getting a welcome email to your group, right? So those things are automated, right? For example, we have something on our tool where if you do a 2-step post or a call to action post, the ones that are like, if you want this, say this, right? We automate that, right? So it auto responds, it auto DMs you, and those sorts of things. So there absolutely are some automated pieces to the tool. But we very firmly at GroupTrack are like, look, human relationships is what sells. And so what we want to be able to do is just simply use the automation to scale your human interaction, right? So we might send, a bulk message welcoming all of your Facebook group members, right? But the intention isn't to then send them through this rinse and repeat automation workflow that's already pre-created, right? That might be something like ManyChat, right? Where you kind of auto respond. That is absolutely not what we do. And, that's an amazing tool as well, but it is not what we do. So we're not a bot, right? So what we will do is we'll just use that to start the conversation and to track where that conversation is progressing. I'm sure everybody listening to this is so overwhelmed in their DMs, right? It's like, I don't know who I messaged, who I made an offer to, what they said, oh my goodness, it's a mess, right? So we'll use the tool, for example, we have a feature where you can literally sort for all of your messages and say, show me everybody with this tag or who said this, or show me everybody where I missed their message, for example, right? So those types of things are going to really help in terms of your time and your efforts and that sort of thing. And when you can automate the things that you shouldn't be doing manually, right? Like, again, I literally yesterday looked in my messenger and I used our little tool that said, and I said, show me every message I have not read, right? And so our little tool is like, right? And it just showed me every message that I had missed. I had messages from 9 weeks ago that I missed because my DM inbox is crazy, right? Which like, that was really walk of shame, that one, right? Because like normally it's like maybe a week, right?
Right.
Literally hadn't done it in a while. But what's so crazy is I could either take 2 seconds to look for those messages and then focus my energy on responding to those people, which lets me be human, right? But the tool itself, the automation to go find those messages, allows me to scale my time where it matters. If I had to look through every single message to go back 9 weeks of DMs, it would have taken me hours, right? So that's really the beauty, right? We automate the things that should be automated so you can show up and be a human and scale that human contact, because especially as we're going into recession, right? You can't be not top of mind anymore. You have to be the person that is in those relationships, because the relationships are what's going to carry you through that, right? And so, we very much are like, use the tool to help you be more human. It's not going to replace it. And we will never, we get asked all the time, like, can you automate this and automate this? And our answer will always be no, because, it is part of our mission and our vision for people who use organic selling systems is don't be the spammy weirdo, right? Like we're very firmly against it. In fact, in our training, right? Like we literally have, these are the rules of engagement. And we jokingly have a contract that's like, I will not spam. I will not do this. I won't bulk tag 500 people in a post that have nothing to do about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really trying to show up in the industry and be like, don't be that person.
Yes. And I love that. I love and as you were talking, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, it's automating just like the first steps to give you a little bit more bandwidth. You know what I mean? How we were just saying how when you're paying more with your time. Well, this is also helping you reduce some of that.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
time, it's stress, it's money. I was just talking to a client. She had hired someone. I mean, she's a big coach in the industry, and she was sharing with me just moments ago that she previously had someone that she paid $50,000 to a year to manage her Facebook group, right? That was that person's job, copying and pasting all their entry questions into a spreadsheet and assigning them to contacts and da 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 da. Right? Well, our tool is $157 a month at the top tier, right? And she can click one button and it's all done. And so she was saying, Jenna, I'm not sure if you're clear, but you save us $50,000 a year with your 157, So like time, money, stress, overwhelm, health, right? And running a business. And that's really cool because the tool resolves so many of those things that are really critical.
Yeah. And one of the things that you didn't say was even just the customer experience and building that relationship. Like that's what you're really, the ultimate goal is too. So it's like I don't know if it's the service or the experience that they have on their journey, with
Yes.
you is like huge, 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 kind of setting you apart,
Oh,
and you're
absolutely.
right with that. Oh, it looks like I'm typing, but then it's another automated message where it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think it's really, we teach, like when you get our system, we give you 2 pipelines pre-built. Because a lot of people are like, okay, I know what selling is online, but like there is a misconception, right? So we'll ask people like, do you have a strategy? And they're like, yeah, I post something, or I send birthday messages, and we're like, okay, those are cool, but that's not going to make you money, right? Like you need to do a very rinse and repeat strategy and track these people through your process. And so when you get our tool, we actually preload it for you with these 2 pipelines. And one of the pipelines we give you is the how to monetize your Facebook group, right? And so, for example, when someone comes into your group, we want to send them the welcome DM that's really crafted very strategically to make that person feel valued, right? And so it's going to reference things you said in your, entry questions, for example, right? So it's very unique. We tag you in a welcome post. And so the way we really treat our online community with a Facebook group is like a retail store, right? Someone walks in your store, your real actual store, right? If you walk into a store, we shouldn't assume as the owner of the store what you want, right? And we also can't assume that you're walking into the store with the assumption you're going to buy something, right? And so just as you would if you were an associate in a real store, we should approach the person who walks in the doors. Thank you so much for coming in. What are you looking for? We specialize in this. Is there anything you're looking for, right? And then once we get that information, we want to drive them right to where in that store that information is, right? So we really teach you to create an environment in your Facebook group with guides and strategic content. So we can say, oh, Michelle, you're looking for strategy on this. Amazing. Let me get you in front of this training we just did that's going to get you some quick results, right? So imagine you walk in the store, you tell me you're looking for a black dress. Like, oh, Michelle, black dresses are over here. Let me walk you over. And then what I'm going to do is be like, well, are you looking for a cocktail dress, a fancy dress, a casual dress? And you're going to get more information, right? Then I'm going to say, oh, amazing. Here's those couple dresses. Let me put you in the dressing room and go try them on, right? Same thing with your Facebook experience. We're going to say, Michelle, what are you looking for? How can we support you? Oh, cool. We've got these trainings. Go ahead and try them on, right? Just like we would if you were in our store, we would come back to the dressing room. Michelle, how are you doing with those? What do you think? Do you like any of them? Oh, nope. You want a different one? Cool. Let me get you in front of that, right? We are over serving in our Facebook community. This is what we teach our clients to do. Because then when we go back to the store or into the dressing room and you're like, oh, I found the right one. We're like, cool. Would you like some help getting checked out? Or are you going to go make the dress yourself?
Right.
Like, no, let's go to the checkout. I want to buy it, right? And that's how we make sales in our Facebook group, right? Is that something you'd like to do on your own? Would you like to learn support about what it looks like to implementing it quicker with our support?
I love it.
Right. And so when we teach people this strategy, it's crazy because I'm sure you're in a million Facebook groups where, it's like, you're a number. You don't even know you're in the group anymore, or you're getting
Mhm.
some dude that's like, buy my thing, and you're feeling very overwhelmed because it's very just like in your face, right? What our clients experience is they get DMs from people that they're welcoming to their communities that are
Mhm.
like, whoa, thank you for welcoming me. I've never had that before. Whoa, this is amazing, right? And that very high touch, high quality experience that is relevant to their problem, right? Again, I'm not sending you to the fish section of my store. You asked for a dress, right?
Right.
But if I just assume I know you and what you want, I could have dropped you off with a bunch of fish and you would have been like, I'm here for a dress. This makes no sense.
Right.
And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what we're doing in Facebook groups. We are
Mhm.
assuming you walk in the door, we know what you want. We're like, here, buy my thing. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it doesn't feel good.
Right.
And so the experience that we're creating with the tool and with the strategy, not only does it feel good as the business owner to like implement it, but it feels so good because the response from the community is like, whoa. And then we know when you feel served and heard and you've got that like and trust, that's who you buy from.
I love that. I love your analogy because it makes so much sense. Because we
Yeah.
always go into it thinking like, oh, we're going to get them in the group and we're going to nurture them this way and not to what they want. So it's like you're asking the questions, do you struggle with XYZ? Because now it even gives you like multiple
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But then we're kind of ignoring it.
Yes. And so what's so cool is like, you know, and this is the thing, it's not that we're trying to be like bad humans, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the capacity to remember that stuff in our brain, right? I can't remember that Michelle really likes whatever, right? But GroupTrack does that for me, right? So it automates the pieces that matter so I can be human, right? So for example, when you come into our Facebook group, using GroupTrack, it captures those answers, right?
Hmm.
So for example, let's say one of my entry questions is like, what are you struggling with most, right? And they give you an answer. The moment you approve them into the group using GroupTrack, a tag is applied to that person in our system. So now I could go and say, you know, hey, GroupTrack, show me everybody who is struggling with organization or whatever, right? I could find just those people with that pain point, shoot them a bulk message and be like, hey, I know you mentioned when you came into my group that you were really struggling with organization. This Thursday, I'm doing a training where I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to know. Is that something you'd benefit from? And when you get that bulk DM, you're like, what? This
Hmm.
person remembers that I am struggling with this and they're giving me a solution for what I said I wanted. What the heck? Right? And so the show rate is going up, the conversion rate is going up. And it's just incredible. I think, you know, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they are doing social selling is they think, right? My strategy is I post, if they want it, they know I sell it, they'll buy it.
Mm.
And I always say it's like this, right? Someone walks into your home and you're like, oh, the bar's over there, go ahead and make yourself a drink. 90 times out of 10, you're going to be like, or 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, oh, no, it's okay. I'm good. I'll just have a water, right? Because we just feel some way, right?
Hmm.
But if you walk in my home, I'm like, Michelle, I know that you're celebrating this awesome thing. I got you your favorite bottle of champagne that I know you love. Would you like a glass? You're going to be like, she cares.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
knows the brand I like, and she knows what's going on in my life. Yes, right? And so that's the exact same thing. No one is helping themselves to your offer.
Mm.
Not going to happen. And it's the same with email or DM or posts. It just doesn't work, right? We have to proactively sell. And so that's why when you asked me what's my definition of selling, you know, social selling, I always like to add that piece that it is not a social media content. Like just posting does not make you sales.
Mm.
It's the strategy around how am I posting? How do I get my ideal client to raise their hand so I can add them into a system and strategically follow up in a way that matters to them, right?
Love it.
And so the truth is we're really trying to redefine what it means to be a social seller using our tool.
Hmm. I actually really love this. I love your approach to this because this is a lot of reasons why I don't do certain things because it makes me feel a little icky inside.
Yep.
Like, oh, I don't know how to do, not that I don't know how to do that. I even hired somebody to do it. And then I was still like, I'm not like loving all of it. So let me ask you this. So let's say for example, me, I have this Facebook group, low engagement, could be a little dead. Like it's, it's like, so I would say low, but I've had it dead before. How
Yeah.
do I revive it?
Oh, I love this question so much. There are so many things you can do. Here's the thing, right? Most people will say to me like, oh, Jenna, my group is really small, or, maybe the people aren't as engaged. Two things. Number one, if they're not engaged, usually it means that we are not lovingly forcing them to be engaged. And I'll explain what I mean. When someone's in your group for a long time, if they don't continuously like comment or, like it or love it, the algorithm no longer even shows it to them. So they don't even know they're in your group anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many things you can do. Okay. And I'm going to explain that. But the second thing I want to say to anybody who's sitting here thinking like, oh, but my group is so little, right? I only have 100 people or only 5,000 people, whatever your little number is. Let me say this. And I heard that, well, if you were in your retail store,
Mm-hmm.
100 people were standing in your store with you, would you think it's small? And here's the question.
Right.
Would you be serving the people and talking to the people that are in your store? Or would you be outside going, why are there not more people in my store? Like, it's like we always are focused on bringing more people into your group. And I'm like, let's pause for a second. Are you serving and converting the people who are already there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's just the preface. So how do we do that, right? A number of things. Number one thing that I would do is I would send a DM to every single person in the group. And I would say, thank you so much for being a member of blah, blah, blah group, because they don't even know who you are or how you connect to a group. And I can guarantee if they've been in there for a while, they don't even remember going in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, thank you so much for being a member of GroupTrack CRM. As a reminder, we help people do this. So I can ensure that you're getting value from our community. I'd love to learn more about what you're working on. Is there anything in particular, right? So we could just do a question. And I would say the more you can ask a question that would let them talk about their own life or their own business, the better response you're going to get, right? Mm-hmm. And then what I would also do is in the DM, put a link to one of your like recent things or like to your welcome post, so they can just simply from the DM click right into your group. Because no one's going to be like, oh, GroupTrack, let me go Google that and get in the group, right? But if you can just give them a post and click, boom, they're already in the group, right? And so the thing that happens, and it's really crazy, even if they don't respond, even if they don't open the message, when you're in their DMs, they're more likely to see your content in your group. So simply sending the message, all of a sudden they're going to start seeing your content now. Mm-hmm. Right? And so that would be the number one thing I would do. I would do a re-engagement DM to all the people and just really say, thank you so much for being in my community. It's important that you're getting value. I'd love to learn what you're working on so I can direct you to some content or some complimentary training that would really suit what you're working on today.
Right? Let me ask you this. With your system, let's say they're already in the group. So we haven't used GroupTrack, GroupTrack. And then that would initially get them in. How would I now start tracking these DMs?
Yeah. So click a button. Everybody from your group goes into GroupTrack.
Like even if it's like they're not coming in.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And what's crazy is you can do it in any group. You don't have to own the group. Any group, anywhere, click a button, all members are added to whatever pipeline you want to create. So then all these people are in a pipeline. Mm-hmm. And we do have bulk messaging. So if you wanted to, automate that welcome message, right? You could say, okay, these people, shoot them a bulk message and it will go out. Now, the way our bulk messaging works, because you guys know Facebook jail is real, right? If you were to just blast people, you would go in jail. Yeah. So the way that our tool works is it throttles it for you. So you tell it how fast do you want these messages to go. So do you want it to go every 30 to 1 minute? Do you want 45 to 60 seconds? And it randomizes it so you look human, right? Mm-hmm. And then it will take like a bathroom break and all sorts of things. And we'll put a limit on how many messages go out a day and all sorts of things. So, so that really helps. So yeah, you can add anybody anytime and do all the things. It's pretty crazy. And it doesn't just work in groups. It works on your personal profile. So for example, I put a post the other day out, like one of those, if you want this, say this word. And I had about 400 people respond. I click a button, Every single person who responds gets added to my system, gets assigned a tag telling me what they asked for. It automatically responds to everybody who commented and automatically DMs the lead magnet. Like,
Wow.
it's crazy, right? So many cool ways that you can engage. The other thing, and this is like our little insider tip here, permalinks. So a permalink is basically a specific link to a specific social media post, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you send someone just to your group and you're expecting them to fend for themselves and figure out where content is, it's not going to go well, right? So what we'll do, for example, is we will send a specific post via email. So for example, and this is part of our rinse and repeat strategy we do. So on Monday, I send an email. Well, actually, let me back up. I post in my group and I say, hey, like today, this is a perfect example. On Monday, I wrote a post that was like, do you want more leads, right? Leads are the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have them, blah, blah, blah. On Thursday, I'm doing a complimentary training that's going to show you how to use GroupTrack to find more leads all across social media. If you want more leads, drop the word catch more leads, right? So I do that on Monday. All sorts of people are writing, catch my leads, right? But just to do that in my group is not enough because algorithm and all the things. So then what I do is I go into my email and I say, do you want more leads? Hey, if you want more leads, blah, 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 click here and I'll show you how to do it. The link I put in my email is the link to that exact post in my Facebook group, right? So now I'm using the power of email to drive the algorithm, right? So all my email people are now seeing that post. Now they're commenting on the post. So it's getting juice, right? And the more they post, the more people see it. Now the whole group sees it, right? So we use email, plus we use the wall, plus we use DM to really drive around that, right? And it's just crazy because it just really boosts that algorithm and then you get more people, right? So everybody's commenting, right? Everybody gets an auto response. Great. Jenna will be live on Thursday. We do a free training every Thursday. And so while I'm live in my call today, I'm going to be able to have my team member tag everybody who said, I want to be tagged in this live video. So while I'm live, this is all happening in the background. Now my show rate is going to be much higher.
Right.
My training. But here's the thing. Even if they don't show up, I now have a tag associated with every single person who said they want to get more leads. So now I know their pain point and now I can follow up with them in the DMs. Hey, did you get to come to the training? No worries. Do you want the replay, or would you want to hop on a, call with the team to see how we can support you quicker? AKA by our coaching program. Right. So, it's just like, it's crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's like half the things I say, I think like, because we do have a coaching program where we really go into these like very, we create a machine basically where it's like, we do this rinse and repeat, like every week there's no, like, we don't have to think, So that's what we teach in our coaching program. But half the time when I say things, I feel like it's like silly, right? Like you email a permalink. How did we not think of that? You know what I mean?
Right,
but it's
exactly.
so simple. And I think that's the beauty. Selling on social, I feel like we make it seem very difficult. It's not. I mean, I've had clients fill an entire course off of one social media post. I've had a client make $171,000 while she was at Disneyland over the weekend using the tool. Now, obviously we can't guarantee results, but it's like, I just like want to scream from the rooftops. Like it can be so simple.
Well, and that's the thing is I think a lot of us are like, well, it seems difficult because we don't have the system. We don't have the process, which is, I think, the beauty of it, of giving that process to them, or guiding people to being like, oh, it's kind of like plug and play. If I just follow this,
right.
This is so amazing. So where are you seeing this going over the next couple of years? Because if this is what it is now.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. And it's funny, like when we started it, right, when I called Nate and I'm like, Nate, make this. And he said, no, right. The pain point I had was I just couldn't track my group members, right. I just wanted to know of my group member who bought and who didn't. Right. And so that's why we called it GroupTrack. Well, it's so silly because it works in your DMs, it works on your personal profile, it works in your group, other people's groups. I mean, it literally works everywhere on Facebook. I can hover over any single name anywhere and put it into my system.
Mhm.
And so we joke that we need to change the name, but in January, we're moving to Instagram.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you're going to
big
be able
time.
to do the same thing on Instagram. And, you know, we've been beta testing it and I'm just like, oh my God, when people see this, they are gonna lose it.
Yes.
So the goal for us is to go multi-platform.
Mhm.
And, you know, if I'm going to put out my, you know, my wish is that we become the social CRM. So for anybody who is selling on social media, we want to be one hub where you put all your leads, all your process, all your system, so that you're not, you know, losing your mind.
I
Being
love
on.
this. I love this because here's the thing. Let's just say if you were social selling, like you get the whole concept, you're making all these Google sheets
Oh
to
God.
track, right? Like, this is from experience. It's like
I
kind of how I
know,
know.
I know.
You have all these Google sheets and you're like, wait, and you're scrolling through and then you're working percentages and blah, blah, blah. Where this is already set up for you. So
Yeah.
literally, like you don't even have to think about it. And then it just I just love this. I love
Yeah.
this.
It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, we have, you know, we've got clients that are multi-million-dollar clients using spreadsheets, like right before
Yes.
they came to GroupTrack. And we're like, holy smokes. I mean, and how beautiful that you are that successful with a spreadsheet. Like that is some skill, you know, but it's like I said, the girl I was talking to today, I mean, she was able to replace a $50,000 you know, team member with $157 a month tool. You know,
Right.
it's just,
Right.
it's really, when it comes to like, you know, the pain points as a CEO business owner, we want to make sure that our relationships with our clients are intact. We want to make sure that our health of us, the owner and the team members are good and we're not stressed out and overwhelmed and all those things. And we want to make sure that money makes sense, right? Time and money and all those things. And so, you know, our goal is to really be the tool that solves all of those problems. And for us, it is. And, you know, for many of our clients who use it and get results, that's what they're seeing as well. So yeah, the spreadsheets and all the things, it's like, we can do that for
Yes,
you know?
exactly. And I'm real big on I'm a type A on the organizational side and also tracking, right? So this is when things fall off our list and people get forgotten, right? And my biggest thing is where are you leaving money on the table? And this will help you not do that.
So let me tell you this. I have two crazy examples of this. So we had a guy who used GroupTrack. He ended up going into our profitable pipelines coaching program where we like, you know, just help them with the strategy. He used our one feature, which is in the DMs, you can sort and say, show me, and you could do whatever you want, but you could say, show me messages I haven't read, show me messages I read but didn't respond to, show me messages the recipient read but didn't respond to, and show like, so you can like dial down, right? So we had him run it. He found 27 messages from people that had said yes to his offer that he never saw. And so we did the math and it was $57,000 worth of money he never closed.
Wow.
Because he didn't see the messages.
Right.
And then we have another client who in January made an offer to a lady. Lady said yes. She never saw the message. She got GroupTrack, ran the tool in April, found the message and was like, oh my God, this lady said yes, I never closed her. So she reached out and was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I never saw this. $10,000 sale that day. You know what I mean? So it's like when we talk about return on money, like it's pretty incredible.
Right. Right. And so, although, I do paid traffic, I'm always like, you should never have all your eggs in the paid traffic, right? You should always be doing some sort of organic marketing. So this just really makes everything so much easier for you to do, and frees up some time. I love
Yeah.
it.
And I think too, like we have a ton of clients who only do paid ads using GroupTrack. So, if you're doing paid ads to a lead magnet that drives them into your Facebook group, you still got to know, in
Yep.
fact, I think it's more vital for people who are using ads to have a system. And I usually tell people like, don't even think about doing ads until you're making 10K recurring and you have a system to convert. Because if you are paying for leads and you don't know if they're actually converting because you don't know, or you don't have a system or your team can't follow up with those people,
Yep.
yikes, right? And so we're like, get a system, get a strategy, get the skills to convert, then go scale with that. Right? Like then you can 10x what you're doing, you know?
Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay. We're going to get into Michelle's hot minute. All right. I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. So just answer the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. Okay. What is your guilty pleasure?
Reading.
Would you rather have a personal housekeeper or personal chef?
Shoot, we'll have both. Well, I don't have a personal chef, but my husband does all the cooking. So I feel like I have both.
Right.
No. But I will say the number one motivator in when I started my business was to have someone clean my house. So that was,
the housekeeper.
Yeah.
What is your favorite way to de-stress?
Gosh, reading.
Reading, guilty pleasure and de-stress. I
know
love
maybe
that.
it's not a guilty. Okay, let's say my guilty pleasure then would be like watching awful TV, like Housewives.
I'm a housewife fan too.
It's bad and it's guilty, but I've tried to move over to reading to replace it, but we'll say Housewives is guilty. Reading is my de-stressor.
Love it. Would you rather lounge by the pool or on the beach?
Cool.
Dine in or dining out?
Out.
Your next travel destination?
We are going to Bora Bora.
What? Yeah. I can't wait to hear about that. Yeah. That sounds fabulous.
So excited.
What tells you most about a person?
Communication.
I love this. That was so much fun.
I know.
And you're good at those rapid responses.
I've never had this in a podcast. This is glorious. I'm like, I think I'm going to do this with more people. This is amazing.
Right? It's fun. It's fun. I appreciate you so much, Jenna, for coming on the show today. Can you tell people where to find you and all about your CRM?
Yeah, absolutely. So GroupTrack CRM, it's, www.grouptrackcrm, nothing too exciting. And then of course we have a Facebook community where we do complimentary coaching every single week. So if you're even just like, I don't know, let me see what this lady's talking about. What's really cool is you have so many entrepreneurs inside of our community who are using it, who are sharing best practices, and doing all sorts of things. And so we really over deliver in our complimentary training. And that is in our Facebook group, which you can literally just Google in GroupTrack CRM or Facebook Google, I should say. And it's called Supercharge Your Social Media. So we'd love to have any and all of you hop on in and kind of experience what we're doing.
Oh my gosh. So good. All right. Well, there you have it. How to leverage the power of automation with organic social selling. Definitely go check out Jenna. I'll drop where you can find her in the show notes. Thank you so much, Jenna, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
All right. Until next time, let's grow your business together.